Okay, so the first question that we want to answer with this data is, where are these incidents of aggression happening? So we've got a country's shapefile in green, we've got the economic zones in blue surrounding each country, and then we've got the Assam data set, which are the aggressive acts of piracy, whatever you want to call them. So if I just zoom in a little bit so you can see this, we basically are trying to figure out for each one of these economic zones, how can we count how many points are falling within each economic zone? And we can answer that question doing something called a spatial join. And so we're going to join on the world EEZ, these are the zones. To this data set, we want to join the number of points. So we're going to set up a join and relate, join, and we want to join attributes from another layer based on spatial location. So we want to join to this layer that we've just clicked on the acts of incidence, the points. Choose the layer to join to this layer, and this layer is the economic zones. Those are the only two things we care about, are the incidents and the zones. So we're joining points to the polygons. That makes sense, right? And then we can kind of leave this, except for we need to make sure that we're using the Browse button. And here's why. The Save As type is going to default to a personal geodatabase or a file geodatabase. And it's going to try and make it a feature class, but it's not. It's a shapefile. So you're going to get an error if you try and just use this line here to set your output location. You have to use the Browse button and change the Save As type to a shapefile. Now it's going to find your folders. We can go in here and find blah blah blah. I'll stick it in my pirate cleanup. We're not going to call it join output. We're going to call it something that makes sense to us, like incidents per economic zone. It doesn't really matter as long as you can translate it. Then I'm going to run that. Know that you're creating a new output. It's going to look exactly like your input. It's going to be a bunch of economic zone shapefiles. So in order to evaluate whether or not this worked, what can you do? Well, you're going to look in the attribute table and you're going to look for a field that says count. And that's the number of these that coincidentally fell within each one of these polygons. Okay, so you can see the color here is very similar. Whoops, it's plopped it up on top here. So if we make it a little bit different so you can tell that we've got a really different data set in here. Now it's purple. Used to be blue, now it's purple. And we can go into the attribute table and we're going to look for a count field. Sorry, that doesn't quite fit on there. It's usually at the end. Oh, I've got some kind of hang up. There we go. So here's our count field, and this means that in, let's see if I can make this fit, that would be lovely. So in, let's see, let's find one here. The Christmas Island economic zone, there were 6 acts of incidence. And you'd probably want to, if you didn't trust this, or if you're new to GIS, test this. Go find one of these. So you can do that by highlighting this and then say zoom to. And there's our Christmas that we zoomed to, and there should be 6. Let me go back to my table of contents here. Okay, so we zoomed into the Christmas exclusive economic zone, the Christmas Islands. It said that we had 6 incidents in there, and it kind of looks like we have 4. If we use our Select Elements button and just try and grab 4 of those, like that, and then we look at the attribute table for the incidents stuff, you can see there are 6 selected, so 2 of them are just sitting on top of each other. So that's that. Then the question asks which country had the highest number of incidents. So what can you do here? You know how to sort, right? You can sort ascending or descending, and then just look at the highest number. And that should be working through the first part.